go, whether I'm in or out of the flow. All I know is I don't want to go where the old folk go.
Hello and welcome back. This is Am I Old Yet? A lightly comic audio drama by Floyd Kennedy about life, the universe and everything at all from the perspective of one elderly woman. Now, if you're new to this program, here's the deal. It's a series, not a serial, which means you can pick it up at any point, any episode, listen to odd episodes at random if you like, or you can listen to this one and then check out all the other seasons from the beginning. Each episode is roughly 10 minutes long and allows you to eavesdrop on Helen as she interacts with her extended family as well as friends and strangers on 3 continents, in her home, on the phone, over Zoom or Skype, or out walking or over a coffee at her favourite cafe. This is episode 1 of season 5. Helen has just dropped off to sleep when the phone rings. Hello?
Hello, Helen. Is that you, Helen? Helen Doherty? Have I got the right number?
Yes, it's Helen Doherty here. I'm sorry, who is this, please?
Oh, that's good. It's me, Helen, it's me. Louise, Nanny Louise, Jack's grandmother. You remember me? Oh, did I wake you up? Oh, I am sorry.
Oh, my goodness, yes, of course. What is it? Is there something wrong?
Oh, no, nothing wrong. I just thought I'd give you a ring. I've got a question. There's something that's been bothering me. And I thought, Jack suggested that you might be able to help. He said he was too young and too English, and I needed to speak to someone my own age and someone Australian, and I thought of you.
Oh, well, that's great. Yes, lovely. Thank you. What time is it?
Oh, it's 11:30.
Oh, right.
Oh, yes, I don't sleep much these days. I suppose you're like me. We don't sleep much at our age, do we?
No. Well, never mind. What can I do for you, Nanny Louise? You're all right, are you? Is everything okay at the home?
Oh, yes. Oh, no, it's fine. We're all over that pandemic's nonsense. Everything's pretty much back to normal.
Oh, really? No wearing masks?
Oh, no, they still wear the masks, but that's normal these days, isn't it?
Oh, I hope so. So, what are you up to? What can I do for you?
Well, I had this thing that's been bothering me, and I just, as I said, I asked Jack, but he's only in his 30s, so he doesn't remember, but I thought maybe you might remember, especially being as you're Australian. It were back in the day, it was something we used to have for pudding, and we had something like it the other day that reminded me. See, we had these cousins who'd moved to Australia, and they came back over on holiday not long after the war was over, and they brought these packets with them. It was packets of, it were like a powder with sparkles in it, very pretty, and Mum would make it into a pudding, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was called. It was something, there was an advert for it with a song, and our cousins would sing it over and over. It was something that we had when we were kids, it was just after the war, and our Mum would make us this dessert, and I just can't remember what it's called. Do you find that, Helen? Do you find there are just words for things that you can't recall?
Oh, I certainly do, Louise. Yes, it happens. More and more often these days, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, it's so frustrating.
Sure. And I'm sure it always was, but it seems to be more so these days. Although I did hear somebody saying that there's only so much room for stuff in your head at any given point in time.
And this was something that we used to get. We used to get something like it at school or school dinners. It was a dessert thing. It was a really sweet, too sweet. Really, I don't suppose it was doing our teeth any good at all. But it was, no, it was just a silly thought. I'm so sorry to bother you.
Oh, no, don't bother about it, Louise. I don't mind being bothered by you. You can bother me any time you like.
Oh, well, that's very nice to know. So what are you doing these days? What's happening with you? How's that lovely granddaughter of yours? You know, she used to go out with our Jack. Oh, I was kind of hoping there was something happening there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But they decided to go their separate ways. They're still good friends, of course.
Well, that's good, isn't it? I don't know. I could never do that myself.
What was that?
Stay friends with young men after I'd split up with them.
Oh, did that happen a lot?
Oh, yes, quite a lot, yes. I could only ever stand them for about 6 weeks, maybe 2 months. And I'd get bored and I'd have to be off. Well, sometimes they'd get bored with me.
But then you met, what was your husband's name?
Oh, Freddie. He was persistent. Wouldn't go away. We'd go out for, 6 weeks or so, and I'd give him the brush off and he'd go away, and then the bugger would come back again. Persistent. So eventually I just thought, well, he's a nice lad. I'll probably not do better, so I married him, and I'm very glad I did.
Well, that's lovely. And you had a good time, good life with him, didn't you?
Oh, aye, we were wed, and well, we were together for 50 years, you know, and that's quite a time to put up with someone when you're used to 2 months.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yeah, I think I deserve it. We did work hard at it, you know. There were times when we just couldn't stand each other, but we'd sort of back off and then we would come together again, you know. And that's how it was with his persistent nature. Do you know, I had a lot of friends whose marriages were broke up, you know, when they were going through the menopause. That was the time, and then the women would just say, I've had enough of this, and they'd be off.
Yes, that's quite a feature, isn't it?
Yes, but Jack, Freddie wouldn't be having it. He'd just leave me alone for a bit, and then he'd say, come on, missus, are we still wed or not? Oh, he was a funny one. A bit like Jack, you know. Jack takes after him quite a lot.
Yes, I'm sure he does. So tell me, Nanny, Louise, this dessert, this sweet thing that you can't remember, what is it? Is it like a milk pudding or a fruit or a cake?
Oh, no, it was none of those. No, it was jelly. Jelly! Yeah. It was a jelly. Oh, jelly, that's the word I was trying to think of. Jelly. Can you imagine? Red ones and green ones and yellow ones and orange ones, even blue ones. I remember the first time I saw blue jelly, I thought it was disgusting, to be honest, but it tasted just as good. And then there was a song there. Do you remember the advert?
Do you mean the aeroplane jelly one?
Oh, yes. How does it go?
I like aeroplane jelly for me.
I like it for breakfast, I like it for tea. Aeroplane jelly is good for me. You're right, that's exactly what it was. Oh, well, thank you so much.
Not at all. I didn't do anything. You thought of it yourself.
I did, didn't I?
And she called you at 11 at night. Why on earth did you answer it, Mom? You really shouldn't be answering the phone at 11 o'clock. Now, why did you have the phone in the bedroom in the first place? Oh, come on, Janie. I was barely asleep and I'd only just dropped off. But why did she think it was all right to call you at that time? Well, look, she's an old lady. She doesn't sleep much. She assumes that all old ladies are the same, that they don't sleep much either. But you're not. Oh, don't get on with that, Janie. Give it a break. What I mean is you're not. Yes, I know. I'm not someone that doesn't need more than 3 hours sleep at night. Not yet, anyway. No, I still quite enjoy my 6 to 7, to be honest. Long may it continue. And why is that? Because I already spend quite enough hours awake. trying to think of things to do with them. Well, I'm sure I could find things for you to do if you're stuck. Such as? You could come and water my garden, for one thing. In the middle of a drought? Oh, yes, perhaps not. Well, flower arranging. Ah, but you're so good at that, and I'm so not. True, but you could help me. I've promised to take some flowers over to the refugee centre on Friday. You could be my apprentice. Hey, I like the sound of that. Do you reckon you could really train me up to your standards? Oh, now don't let's get overexcited, Mom. That was Not All Old Women, Episode 1, Season 5 of Am I Old Yet? Written and performed by me, Floyd Kennedy. Now, you can switch off now, or perhaps you'd like to hear something about how this so-called podcast came about. Here we go. I turned 77 during the first lockdown here in the UK, and as I adapted my life to solitude tempered by virtual interactions with family, friends, colleagues on Zoom or Skype, my part-time job teaching at a nearby acting college disappeared, and I realised I was of an age that I would never get another one. I would have to adjust to living on the pension, and I began to seriously question whether I had reached that stage of life that we consider to be old. I wrote a poem about it. You can find it on YouTube. I wrote a song about it. It's the theme music for this program. You can find that on Bandcamp. And then I was invited to enter a competition to write, perform and record a 10-minute radio play, all on my own. So that is how Kind Like Sharon, the first episode of Season 1, came into being. I had so much fun doing it that I decided to do another one, and then another one, and what the heck, here we are, 65 episodes later. Every now and then I find it all a bit much because it's a lot of work, believe it or not, hence the seasonal breaks. I still need to work to supplement the pension, and I'm fortunate to pick up the odd bit of acting or voice coaching with private clients. But, and it's quite a big but, I do need your support, one way or another, and that means moral support just as much as financial support. And that's why I keep asking, as do every podcaster you've ever come across, for whatever support you can offer. Either you can drop a review or a comment in your podcasting app or on my website, www.amiolyet.com/reviews, or donate whatever you feel is fair recompense for the entertainment I provide, either at buymeacoffee.com/amiolyet or at patreon.com/amiolyet. And that will ensure that Helen keeps on keeping on, helping out her old and even older friends, squaring off against Janie, challenging herself to try new things, and enjoying a good old moan when it all gets to be a bit too much. Thank you. And thank you so much for listening. You deserve a medal. I used to know. There's no reason I can find for going round in circles inside my mind.